Hey guys, it's Noor Kidwai here, letting go with Noor. This is my channel. I wanted to start a channel to basically kind of go over my own journey, which I think is going to help a lot of other people. I want to start by kind of talking about anxiety, which, oh my God, I've dealt with it for years, and lately I've been so good with anxiety. It's my body's so much more calmer, and I'm just going through my life in such a relaxed mode. And honestly, I just can't even think about how I used to be so tense and anxious and nervous all the time, and just how hard that was. It sucked. It ruined my quality of life, and even when good things came into my life, I was never able to enjoy it properly. So this channel is basically about my journey and my letting go journey. And one thing I realized with my anxiety is how much of my anxiety was caused by myself, the stories I told myself, and how much it was caused by emotions that I suppressed over the years and just never dealt with. So over this journey, I questioned those stories I was telling myself and realized the only way to get rid of those stories and stop telling yourself those stories is by releasing those emotions that are stuck deep in you. And I've started that journey. I'm still on it. I think I'll probably always be on it. But honestly, I've had so many breakthroughs lately, and my quality of life is just a completely different level right now. And I want to bring that to you. So I want you guys to know this is what my channel is going to be about. Right, today I'm going to talk about anxiety. There's shame, guilt, so much other stuff that I have to talk about, and I'm going to teach you guys different ways on how you can apply these lessons to your own life and kind of achieve this relaxed state of mind, which brings forth your natural energy, your natural authenticity, and your natural charisma, which kind of attracts a lot of the stuff that you want in your life. So that's pretty much this channel. I'll tell you, I had a mentor who is basically a counselor, and I was talking to him about my anxiety for the last couple of years, and he really got me to question my beliefs and the stories that I tell myself. And then I also, when I started having some breakthroughs with him, I found this book, Letting Go by David R. Hawkins, and he basically was telling me about the suppressed emotions that you hold inside yourself, and how letting go of those suppressed emotions just is, it's honestly an amazing thing, and it relaxes your whole body. Because when an emotion is inside of you and you suppress it down, it creates this tightness inside of you, and that tightness doesn't allow your natural energy to flow, because we're filled with abundant energy everywhere. So that when you relax, your energy can just flow naturally, and from that you can be more charismatic, you can be more abundant in your life, you can be more authentic, just because your natural energy is flowing. But when you have anxiety or fear or guilt or shame or any of these, anger, you tense up in different parts of your body, and some of that tension you've been holding for years, and that restricts the flow, it blocks the flow of that energy. So I found a way to loosen that up and be more relaxed in my daily life. One thing that happened with my anxiety in particular, I was on a trip with my mentor, my counselor I was telling you about. He's friends, and we have mutual friends, and he was getting me to question these stories I had. And one of the things that happened is I had this dream at night, and it had to do with my dad. And my dad had this really big stroke a few years ago that basically put him in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. And for for the, like, it's been 4 years now, and for a long time I was like telling myself like, oh, he's gonna get his walking back and we'll bring him home. And like I see him, he's in long-term care now, and it like hurts me so much to see him in long-term care. And yeah, it's not easy. And for so long I was putting that pressure on myself, and that pressure was creating all this anxiety. And even when I try to block that out of my head, that doesn't work. That pressure's there, and it's inside of you, and it's boiling up and getting tighter and tighter, and it comes out as this anxiety. And when the anxiety comes out, I usually try to resist the anxiety, and it's just like, it's one of these things that makes it just worse and worse, and it becomes this really big issue. And I was having anxiety for a long time, and that was just one of the reasons. But that was like the surface reason, like just the latest reason of my anxiety. And one night when I was on vacation, I had this dream where we're buying a house, me, my mom, and my brother. And we buy this house with stairs, and I go to my brother and my mom are like, oh, we got the house for the stairs and Dad can walk up them. And I had to go to them and be like, guys, Dad's not gonna ever walk again, all right? Get this through your head. And in the dream, I'm just like, guys, just get it through. And they're like, no, they can't accept it. I'm like, guys, if we accept this, we love them, we're going to give them the best life we can give them, but just get this through your head. And then they all started crying, and I started crying, and we were just like, we finally all like came together and accepted it. And then when I woke up, I felt all this anxiety in my chest, and the letting go method, I now knew it was just like, hey, relax, and this anxiety that's coming up, just let it pass. And it was not a good feeling. If you have anxiety, especially in your chest, you guys probably know how it's not a fun feeling. So I had this anxiety in my chest, and I just like, I finally was able to just relax and let it pass through me, and I felt all this energy leave me. And that's what happens. That's this letting go technique. It's when these suppressed emotions come up, you can let them go. And the way you let them go is by not resisting them. Any other time when that anxiety comes up, my chest tightens, and then I try to fight it. For some reason, I had this natural resistance to it. And it's not for some reason, it's a fear response. It's perfectly normal, and it's okay. But I used to resist feeling these emotions. And because I resisted them, they just got worse and worse over time. And it became like a really bad disorder where it ruined the quality of my life. But I was able to release them. And that was my first release with it, which lowered my anxiety, like my actual like normal anxiety, quite a bit. And it got rid of it. And I realized it's like, okay, so a lot of that anxiety in the last few years has been because of my dad, seeing what happened to him, my ability to not be able to control the situation. And how did I get rid of that? Is that I found out, like, I accepted it, and I understood that I feel this way about my dad because I love him. He's like the best guy ever, and I feel that way about him, so it's okay. But I have to accept that this is the situation, and I have to accept the emotions that causes me. So when those emotions come up, I allow them to be, and sometimes they get intense, sometimes they're not as intense, and I allow them to be, and then I allow that energy to pass through my system, when before I was always fighting that energy. I was always feeling that energy and going, like I tensed up, and then I tensed up in different parts of my body. So that was one part of my anxiety. And then when it started getting deeper after that part, and I kept doing this letting go technique where I'm going to repeat this because I want this to get stuck in your head too. It's like when you feel these feelings come up, or when you feel these thoughts come up, you just have to let them be, observe them, accept them, and let that energy come out of you and let it run its course, whether it's thoughts or emotions or sensations anywhere in your body. Because after that, what was coming up was basically a lot of thoughts and stories I told myself over the years of like, hey, I should be this successful by this now. I should have a family by now. I'm 38. Like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Where am I? What am I doing? Like, what is this shit? Why don't I have a family? Why can't I attract women? Why am I single? Why don't I have enough money? I'm a comedian. Like, why am I not bigger? And even though I've hit a lot of like goals in my comedy life, it's just like every time I hit a goal, it's like, well, okay, well then the next one, and then I'm constantly comparing to other comedians, and it's just like, why do I have all these stories running through my head all the time? And it's my counselor was telling me, my mentor, like, hey, these stories are not real. You're creating everything in your head, and you need to let those go as well. And when I read this book, Letting Go, I also realized, like, okay, these stories are coming from suppressed emotions, and there's emotions with all these stories. Because I could have a week where I'm feeling amazing and I don't run any of these stories through my head, but then all of a sudden the next week they come back, and then my energy gets lower and I feel like shit, and then I don't perform as well in comedy as well. I can see my confidence is down, and the audience start reacting to it. Even like a girl I might be seeing, like when I'm up, she's like all over me and like loving me, and then all of a sudden like these thoughts come down, my energy goes down, and when I see them, they start going like, you can see them second guessing it and all of this shit. So it's like all these stories, like I was telling myself them, but they're coming through there's a deeper root to all of these stories, and I realized a lot of it's suppressed emotions as well. And when I continued this letting go technique of allowing these things to come up and allowing my body to release them, the more you do it, the more your nervous system starts relaxing and starts trusting you, starts trusting the process. It starts going like, oh, this guy's releasing all of this stuff and it's making me feel better over time, and he's not resisting anymore. And then all of a sudden you become into this more relaxed state as the days go by, and more stuff starts popping up. And when I started releasing a lot of these stories, a lot of heavy emotions were popping up, mostly guilt, shame, and apathy. And in the book, if you read it, these are like very low energy, heavy emotions. And when you're releasing them, you'll feel like actual sensations and tightness in your gut, in your chest, in your stomach, even in my shoulders for some reason. And all these emotions are linked to different things if you actually go and study them. But for my case, it didn't matter. You don't need to put a story on them when you're releasing them. You just need to feel them and feel these emotions when they're coming out, because you never felt them before, and that's why they got suppressed, is because when you actually felt those emotions before, or when those emotions originally came up, you blocked them. You didn't feel them fully because you were either overwhelmed, or for some reason you were just not cautious of them. So you ended up suppressing them. So when this guilt, when this apathy, when this shame started coming up, there were heavy emotions, and they were linked with a lot of feelings, especially in my gut, and you could feel this tightness, this tension. And with the letting go technique, I was able to just relax and let them go away. And when they're going away, you can feel this energy coming through your body, and you can feel these thoughts coming up as well. And these thoughts would come up, and it would be like, you're not good enough, you're too old, what the fuck are you doing in your life? Your parents were right, you shouldn't have went into comedy, you made all the wrong decisions, you're not lovable, you're not going to get into a relationship, you're too old, you're the old guy now, no woman's going to want. Like, these are just shit emotions. Like, think about that. This is a voice in your head telling yourself this shit. This is not like healthy. And when you're when these emotions are stuck in you, these stories will constantly come back, and then they just beat down on you and beat down on you, and they don't allow you to like live through that relaxed state of mind I'm talking about, where real authenticity, real charisma, real attraction, all of that stuff flows through, and it flows through naturally, because that's just how our natural energy and the natural self-expression is. It's naturally going to attract amazing things into your life, but we tense up with all these suppressed emotions and then tell ourselves these shitty stories that we believe through them, and it really hurts our quality of life. So when I started releasing these stories and these emotions, it was tough, but man, was I having some amazing days after that. And even now, where I'm just like, wow, I'm walking around without these emotions, and the world is so much more open, and my mind is so much more peaceful, and the world seems so much more abundant. So now when I hear about this stuff like the law of attraction, and stuff like get abundance in your life and manifest stuff, like, I used to think of those as like kind of woo-woo and a little out there, but I'm understanding these concepts completely now. It's like I'm releasing all of this stuff and allowing my natural energy just to express itself, and I'm now kind of creating this life that I really want, and I'm seeing it all starting to come together around me. And I want to kind of leave off on that, I think. I'm going to go into this channel. I'm going to try to post as much as I can and go over my journey, because this is just like a tip of the iceberg, and there's so much stuff in there that I can talk about. But a lot of this is about letting go of this past garbage that we don't need. I want you guys, and I want myself, but I want you guys who take the time to listen to my stuff, to let's like live life in a more relaxed mode, a peaceful mind, and be kind to ourselves. These words that we tell, these stories that we tell ourselves of like we're not good enough, maybe we're too old, or maybe we're too young, we're not good enough to get to where we need to be, or whatever story we tell ourselves, it's not true, all right? It's all bullshit, and we can be kinder to ourselves, and that kindness comes by letting go of those suppressed emotions. And when you do, I promise you that natural energy that's in you, it's naturally kind to yourself, and it'll naturally give you some love and peace and acceptance. And I promise I'll put out more videos that we'll keep going through this journey together, and I hope to see you back. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and yeah, leave a comment if there's anything you want me to ask or talk about. Thanks, guys.